Start with you, Commander.
Jeff McAtee.
Brian Tenick.
Brad Bazemore.
April Dozier.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mark Rockwell, and today I'm going to talk to you about why I feel that they should legalize both marijuana and cannabis hemp. According to a Time magazine article by Tom Klein, it's estimated that marijuana is the largest cash crop in the United States. In California alone, it boasts an annual revenue of $14 billion just for that one cash crop. That's more than corn, more than tobacco, more than any other cash crop in the United States. If the U.S. were to tax this product just in that state alone, 10%, they would earn a total revenue of $1.4 billion for the government just in that state alone, for that one crop. Now, most people have an understanding of what exactly marijuana is, but not everybody has an understanding about the plant itself, cannabis, or its beneficial properties. Cannabis can be used in both manufacturing and industrial products in a variety of ways. Throughout my research on this topic, I found more than 500 websites and thousands of articles on the beneficial properties of hemp and the positive effect that the taxation of marijuana would have on the U.S. economy. That's why I feel that the legalization of growing hemp and the legalization of marijuana with taxation would be beneficial for the U.S. economy. Today I'm going to discuss this in three different parts. The initial part is how the legislation that was initially passed to tax marijuana was not intended to legalize hemp, which in fact it did. The second part I'm going to discuss to you is the thousands of ways that we can use hemp to manufacture products and boost our economy as well. The third point that I'm going to talk to you about is how the legalization and taxation of marijuana would be extremely beneficial to the U.S. economy. Although most people understand hemp as marijuana, that's not necessarily true because they're two different plants. It is because of this the initial legislature wasn't designed to make hemp illegal. In 1937, the U.S. passed legislature putting heavy tariffs on marijuana, effectively making it almost unreasonable to grow because you had to pay so many taxes on it. In this bill, hemp was prohibited from these tariffs because they understood two things about hemp. One, it's not marijuana, and two, it has a multitude of ways that it can be used for production within the industry. According to Wikipedia, hemp strands have been found as far back as 7,000 years ago in China and Taiwan in production of pots and other items. It's also been found that in 105 AD, Chai Lu was thought to have invented paper, but 200 years before that, they found evidence of hemp paper on the Great Wall of China. This just goes to show for how many years that hemp has been used in production in countries all around the world. Even here in the U.S., our founding fathers knew the worth of hemp. Benjamin Franklin started America's first paper mill, exclusively making paper from hemp. Even the draft copy of the Declaration of Independence was made on hemp fiber paper. Even after this legislature in 1937 was put into effect, the U.S. government still promoted the growing and use of hemp because of World War II. In 1942, they started a video called Hemp for Victory because they were a shortage on manila fibers, and they knew that hemp was such a viable product and easy to grow that it could be grown around the U.S. When the Marijuana Tax Act of 1937 was passed, marijuana was given a very specific definition that was separate from hemp. According to homebooknow.com, the Marijuana Tax Act defines marijuana as all parts of the cannabis sativa L plant, whether growing or not, the seeds, the resin, or extracted thereof. But, and this is what it says in the act itself, this shall not include the mature stalks of the plant, fiber produced from the stalks, oil, cakes, or seeds from such plant. Effectively, the fiber of the cannabis plant, sativa L, subcategory sativa, is what is hemp. This is hemp. Now the subcategory indica is what is marijuana. That is why they're two separate plants, but most people see them as the same plant. Even the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, before there was a DEA, said in a document that we cannot tell the difference between the two different types of plants. Therefore, that's why we're going to consider hemp and marijuana both illegal, because we can't tell the difference between the two. So it wasn't the bill, in effect, that made it illegal. It was the Federal Bureau of Narcotics that made it illegal because they could not make this recognition. Before and after cannabis hemp was incorrectly illegalized, people all around the world were using it for a variety of ways. Because of its dense fiber core, cannabis hemp can be used for about 25,000 products. This is according to the North American Industry of Hemp Council. They can be used in 25,000 products. Some of those products are paper, long-lasting bags or sacks, cardboard, packaging, environmentally safer plastic. The fibers can be used in conjunction with our plastic-making materials, clothing, and rope, which are the two biggest industries that they use hemp for. Other than that, because of its biomass capabilities, hemp can also be used as a reliable fuel source in our search for finding more renewable fuels. More importantly, hemp can also be used as a food and dietary supplement. Not very many people know that. The seeds from hemp can be used in cereals, trail mix, and chips. They can also be ground into very nutritious protein bars and can be added to smoothies, meatless burgers, and other foods. There's a variety of ways that you can use them. Hemp seeds also contain a large amount of omega-3, the dietary supplement, even more so than walnuts. And this is important because omega-3 is known to improve memory and strengthen brain cells. Very important. So it's really a worthwhile product. As an example of something that can be made from hemp, this right here is a canvas hemp bag. And just to show the tie-in with World War II, if you look on the strap right here, you'll see that it says U.S. Army World War II on the strap, because this is a World War II Army hemp bag. So if you guys want to take a look at that, that's one of the products that can be made from using hemp. Through all these products that would increase the country's exports and maybe increase the jobs, something that had an even greater effect on that would be the legalization of marijuana and the taxation of it. The legalization and taxation of marijuana could not only bring jobs, money, but it can also bring extreme revenues for states that are in the Depression right now. One of the most important facts is that marijuana, everybody thinks it's dangerous, when in fact it's actually less addictive and less dangerous than both tobacco and alcohol, two products that are legal on the market right now. According to a report released by the U.S. Department of Justice, Drug Enforcement Administration, it is physically impossible to eat enough marijuana to die from. Now those are two things you can't say about tobacco and alcohol. It is also known that caffeine is 3 times more addictive than marijuana, and caffeine is something we ingest every day. The most stifling statistic about this is the amount of money that people spend making arrests and various things from marijuana. Millions of dollars are spent a year. So to save this money and produce billions of dollars in revenue, the U.S. should legalize and tax marijuana. The taxation of legalized marijuana would bring hundreds of billions of dollars to our economy. Hundreds of billions of dollars. This would also create thousands of new jobs in commerce and trade, and also help boost up the lower income states. Because both hemp and marijuana are currently heavily circulated throughout the world, the legalization, in my opinion, would be a relatively easy process because people are already doing that. In conclusion, I strongly feel that the legalization of marijuana and hemp would help the U.S. economy and be beneficial. During the speech, I covered why the early legislation was, in effect, not meant to make hemp illegal. Secondly, we talked about the products that you can make from hemp, and then I talked about why the legalization and taxation of marijuana would be beneficial. Our society today is riddled with products that are quote-unquote bad for your health, but they're regulated and there's laws kept from people doing bad things with them. If these same concepts were applied to hemp and marijuana, then I think it would really boost our economy. Thank you very much. 8 to 9 minutes.
That was like 9, exactly. Perfect. That was like on the dot 9. From when you
I think you should also add it, maybe take money away from